What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheUzigunner, bringing you all my official World Battle Entertainment debut. Honestly, to say I'm grateful for this opportunity would be a massive understatement, but to anybody that knows me, this is something that I've been chasing for over 4 years now. Thankfully though, things finally came full circle for your boy, and I couldn't be any more happier. And on that note, I apologize for not uploading anything throughout these past 6 months, but I honestly needed that change of pace. I'll give a more in-depth explanation later on in a future video of mine, but for now, just know that I am back and better than I ever was. Either way, to those that do not know, I'm filling in for Sacred Almighty, who is the coach of the Chicago Buffalons, if that's how you probably pronounce it, and who unfortunately left with a pretty bad 0-5 record with a -20 differential. So I got a lot of work cut out for me if I want to reach playoffs. But you know what? I haven't given up by any means, and I'm gonna make sure that one way or another, I give each and every single one of you something to remember. Now, as far as my first opponent goes, it's none other than Patty Trills, who is the coach of the Sin City Scissors. Scissors. Now, this is a man who by no means can be taken lightly because he is the one that beat Gator in his very first week. He definitely has shown that he can go, and judging by the matchup which you should see before you right now, it definitely isn't gonna be a cakewalk by any means. Why do I say that, you may ask? Mega Alakazam. Why is my voice cracking? Seriously, what? Now I did make a few adjustments to the squad to have it more or less suit my style more, but even then, I'm honestly not entirely too happy with what I got. Regardless, let's see what we can do, shall we? First things first, we got my biggest asset against him, Therion, aka Kyurem. Yes, I'm an Octopath Traveler fan. I bet none of you didn't know that. Now, basically, this set is massively effective against Patty in the sense that I can quite literally apply massive pressure against him, and by that, I mean pressure stall. His best switch into this is obviously going to be his Ferrothorn, and with my ability, he can only use Gyro Ball 4 times, which is extremely crucial in the sense that I will essentially just cripple his only check to this thing and just more or less set up substitutes on it all day, every day, and considering his other Pokemon that he has in his arsenal, he is not going to appreciate a Kyurem behind a substitute by any means. And with my 2 offensive moves that you all see before you, it is pretty self-explanatory why he doesn't necessarily have a very good time against it. Either way, use Subroost Kyurem. Moving on to the next Pokemon, we got Alistair, aka Mega Aerodactyl, with a pretty unique spread if I do say so myself. Did I come up with that, you may ask? No, I didn't. I took help from Zazzle. But yeah, to anybody that doesn't know, Mega Aerodactyl actually has some pretty damn good bulk. And considering how Mega Alakazam is the biggest threat against me, I need to come up with a proper plan for it. And to do so, I have none other than this exact set. Now when building, my main point of concern was Calm Mind Mega Alakazam, because if it had that with Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast / Energy Ball, it more or less just tears through my squad, and unless I establish my ways out, I have no way of changing that outcome. That's where this set comes in, because this amazing revenge killer is able to take a +1 Psychic even after rocks, which is outright insane. Now granted, I need to make sure that I get the necessary chip off on Zam, which I'll go into in a bit. But basically, as long as this beast is around, Zam ain't gonna be cleaning up on me anytime soon. And hey, best case scenario, Patty will want to switch out because in his head, he will be expecting a speed tie, which is going to give me the green light towards just pretty much clicking Pursuit without having to worry about anything, and more or less stripping him of his biggest threat against me. But yeah, other than that, Stone Edge is there cause Stab, Ice Fang is there cause I hate Lando, and Roost is there because Longevity. Now on to Mega Aerodactyl's perfect partner, we got Fizdef Yuxi with a fair bit of Spadef investment. Now this set in particular actually does a lot of work in a lot of ways, and essentially fixes my Mega Alakazam problem entirely. So here's the deal. With my composition of 6 Pokemon, this will be my initial switch into Mega Zam, which I assume Patty will not be expecting considering I have a Licky Licky in my squad. I expect Patty to either outright go for a Psychic first if it say is in against my Amoonguss. Either that or it will set up a Calm Mind or Sub. Lots of choices. But assuming he does go for a Psychic and follows up with a Shadow Ball after, I have a very likely probability of being put in Ayapapa Berry range, which not only will put me back to a great amount of HP, which will therefore allow me to apply more pressure on Landorus Terrian, I am going to be able to get the needed chip damage off with U-turn before Pursuit trapping it with Mega Aerodactyl. So yeah, I'm very happy about this set and I can definitely see this thing put in the work. Otherwise, Foul Play is there because Lando, I really hate that Pokemon. Stealth Rock is there because Patty doesn't necessarily appreciate rocks. And Magic Coat is there because, from what I've seen in Patty's matches so far, he loves setting hazards. And I sure as hell am gonna try to avoid that fate as much as I can. For the next Pokemon, we got Pink Guy, aka Licky Licky. And first things first, I'm beyond glad that I was able to pick this one up. It is massively underrated and under the right player can put in a lot of work. Now this more or less finishes the trio I had in mind that gives Mega Zam as little leeway as possible. It's Assault Vest, and with this investment you see before you, shoutouts to PokeM's GBA run, there is absolutely nothing on his team that can OHKO it other than Primeape, which I'm not gonna stay in on anyways. Licky Licky honestly has phenomenal coverage, and while its damage output can be quite sad at times, it's irrelevant here because it does a very crucial thing for me. And that is take out both Pokemon, being his Ferrothorn and his Seismitoad, that are more or less the only thing in Mega Aerodactyl's way towards just outright destroying Patty's squad. Otherwise, Return is there cause Stab and it two-shots Mega Alakazam as well as Ribombee, which is pretty nice. And of course, last but not least, Ice Beam is there because, again, I hate Landorus Terrian, and this is more or less following an assumption where I'm going to expect him to run a Z move this week, particularly either Rockium Z or Flynium Z. And considering I have a Uxie in my squad, I expect him to expect me to go hard out into my Uxie, which therefore gives him a free opportunity to set up a Swords Dance. I'm going to avoid just that by just going for an Ice Beam and just straight up obliterating that thing. So yeah. And now for the final two Pokemon, we got Wolf's Art aka Amoonguss, which also happens to be a mixed defensive variant with more being catered towards Spadef. Honestly, this set is ideal in the sense that Landorus isn't going to be two-shotting me anytime soon, and with the Spadef investment, Pokemon like Ribombee or Nasty Plot Raichu, which I'm not expecting by the way, won't necessarily have their way with me. Rocky Helmet's mainly there to punish Pokemon like Primeape or Scarf Lando, and with these four moves you see before you, Amoonguss essentially just sits there and makes Patty's life a living hell. Not much else to say other than that really. Lastly, we got Primrose aka Tapu Fini, which is a more physically defensive, rocking the standard Smogon set, but with Z Haze instead of Taunt, yeah. Now this, in my opinion, is extremely crucial because from what I've seen, Patty likes to set up hazards a lot from what I've seen in his matches. As such, I'll need to make sure that my Fini can stay healthy and have good longevity so that I can keep hazards out of my side of the field and essentially do what I want, really. Z Haze does just that, as because not only does it get rid of whatever, stat boosts comprehensible, it is also able to get my HP back up to 100%. And by me, I mean Tapu Fini. No shit, Sherlock. And that, to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the most valuable thing. Otherwise, Moonblast and Nature's Madness is pretty nice in the sense because it hits almost everything and just makes my other offensive Pokemon's life much more easier, to be honest. So yeah, that's gonna be all there is to it for this team. I hope you all enjoyed this session, and with that being said, enough of me rambling on, let us move on into the game. Okay guys, we are back right now, and as you can see, this is what my opponent Patty Trills brought against me. And just from team preview alone, I'm very much surprised to see absolutely no Seismitoad whatsoever, because realistically speaking, that was his best Mega Aerodactyl response, and the fact that Druddigon is in its place is a pretty big surprise to me, considering the fact that it isn't gonna like a Stone Edge or an Ice Fang, even though to be fair, it's going to be able to get a lot of damage on me, courtesy of Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet. But other than that, I'm pretty much expected all of his other Pokemon to come here, to be honest, particularly his Ferrothorn, his Ribombee, his Mega Alakazam, and his Landorus Terrian. And the fact that Raichu is here instead of his Primeape is absolutely perfect for me, because now I have absolutely nothing stopping me from leading off with my Kyurem. And at the same time, while you could argue that he could also lead off with his Ribombee, the way Patty plays his matches is more or less revolved around him leading off with a Volturn Pokemon of his. And considering how my squad composition doesn't necessarily have an electric immunity, I expect him to lead off with his Raichu, in which case I can lead off with my Kyurem turn 1 and just instigate a lot of pressure, no pun intended. So that's pretty much how it's gonna be. Out comes my totally legitimate shiny Kyurem, as Patty is gonna bring out his Ray Romano, aka the Raichu, and this is absolutely phenomenal because now I know for a fact he's not gonna stay in, because if I do happen to be a Choice Scarf variant and he happens to be a Choice Specs or a Fightinium Z variant, he just outright dies to an Earth Power. So I'm gonna expect him to just hard swap out, and I'm just gonna go for a free Ice Beam because yeah, there's nothing stopping me from doing that really. As out comes the Ferrothorn, and it is going to take a very decent chunk of damage, and honestly speaking, there's nothing stopping me from just scouting what set he is right now. So I'm just gonna more or less start the cycle here, as instead of setting up hazards, he just goes for a Gyro Ball, which is perfectly fine, because now this is perfect for me, because since he doesn't happen to possess the Iron Head, I can now just stall this thing out of all its Gyro Balls and pretty much cripple the only thing that could switch in on this Pokemon. So yeah, he's just gonna go for one more Gyro Ball and is now more or less one Gyro Ball away from being outright walled by my Kyurem. As now he's gonna hard swap out his Nigel and go straight out into his Rabombi, as I'm gonna go for one more substitute. And this actually starts to make me panic, because I don't necessarily want to be on the receiving end of a Bug Buzz, because to those that do not know, Bug Buzz does happen to go through a substitute. So I'm actually gonna get the hell out of here right now, and this is kind of bad because now the Pokemon that applied the most pressure against his team is lacking in HP. So yeah. Here I make a pretty loose play by just going straight for a Clear Smog. In hindsight, HP Fire was probably better, as now Patty's just gonna go hard out into his Ruddigon, scouting for the HP Fire, and he is more or less going to reap the best outcome from this exchange. Now, I don't necessarily want him to, more or less dictate the pace of the match, so I'm gonna make an aggressive play by going out in my Kyurem rather than my Tapu Fini, because there was really nothing stopping him from going to his Ferrothorn, with Ferrothorn, as I went for a Defog and just, putting me in a troublesome position afterwards. So this play is going to work out perfectly for me, as now I'm going to predict him to hard swap out, and I'm going to go straight for a Roost, which is absolutely beautiful, because now I am more or less dictating the pace of the match again, and I couldn't be any more happier really, as now there's nothing stopping me from just going straight for another substitute, and he's going to go out in his Rabombi. And that's perfectly fine by me, because now that I know that he doesn't happen to possess the Bug Buzz with him, there's nothing stopping me from just outright going for an Ice Beam here and now, and that is exactly what your boy is gonna do right now. So yes, Ice Beam is gonna come off right now. I'm gonna be able to take out over half of that Rabombi's HP, and now at this point in the juncture, there's nothing stopping me from going out into my Amoonguss. I could have gone out into my Licky Licky, but I don't necessarily want that thing to take any damage just yet at this point in the match. So yeah, what I believe I do right now is just go straight for a Clear Smog, because I don't necessarily have any reason not to. I could have gone for a Spore, but I thought that it wasn't necessarily all too worth it at that point in the match, as he is going to go out into his Alakazam. I'm going to get some nice damage on this thing, and now I'm going to more or less just start my main plan centered around this Pokemon, as his Mega Alakazam is obviously going to Mega Evolve, and now I expect him to either go for a substitute or go for a psychic, as he does go for the farmer, and that's perfectly fine by me, because now there's nothing stopping me from going straight for a U-turn, as he is going to go for a Calm Mind, and the fact that he showed Calm Mind at substitute shows to me that he doesn't happen to possess the Focus Blast with him, because he needs Shadow Ball to be able to take on Uxie, and Psychic is obviously going to be there because stab. So I don't necessarily need my Mega Aerodactyl to take unnecessary damage at this point in the match when I have a near full health Licky Licky. So I'm gonna go just hard out into that and just more or less go straight for a return, because there was nothing stopping me from doing just that, as he is gonna switch out into his Nigel, which is perfectly fine, because now I'm going to be able to start my other phase of my plan, that is damaging this thing as much as possible with Fire Blast, and that is absolutely phenomenal, as I take over 65% of this thing's HP. He unfortunately misses his Power Whip, which is kind of sad, but I don't think it mattered in the grand scheme of things, considering how fat this boy is. So yeah, I'm just gonna more or less go for another Fire Blast, as I have no reason not to. Now here I'm actually gonna predict him to either set up on me, because considering that I happen to possess a Uxie in my squad, and I'm gonna stay in and go straight for an Ice Beam and be able to knock out one of the second biggest threat against me, which is absolutely phenomenal. And now he is just gonna go straight on into his Raichu, and honestly speaking, I kinda expected that really. I probably should have just gone out into my Amoonguss, but I thought that it, wasn't a play necessarily going for at this point in the match, which kind of sucks because now I'm going to take a lot of damage courtesy of Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet, as now I'm more or less just going to go hard out into my Primrose, aka my Tapu Fini, as Patty's just going to stay in and go straight for a superpower. That is going to do absolutely negligible damage, and that is perfect for me, because now that I know that this set is the Rocky Helmet variant, Gunk Shot isn't going to be doing anything if he does happen to possess that move. So I'm going to be able to get Stealth Rocks off my side of the field, which is absolutely beautiful for me, because now I can just pretty much do whatever I want, really, as I'm just going to go out in my Licky Licky, more or less just sacking this thing off. But what do you know? It actually eats the move, which is absolutely hilarious, as now I'm just more or less just going to go straight out into my Wolf's Art, aka my Amoonguss. I don't know why I just keep saying aka, but yeah, you get the drill. I am more or less just going to pull a hard double out right now, straight out into my Chin Chin, because I can pretty much take any hit he wants to go for. And now I'm going to go straight for a Magic Code, because I know for a fact that he's going to try to set up his rocks on me. So this foreplay is going to work out absolutely beautifully for me. And now, expecting him to try to go for Stealth Rock again, I'm going to go for another Magic Coat. And what do you know? He actually does go for a Glare instead of a Stealth Rock. And that is perfect for me, because now he's more or less just paralyzed. Now, expecting him to think that he cannot necessarily get anything out of this exchange, I'm going to predict him to switch out and go straight for a U-turn. And this is beautiful for me, because now this gives me the freest of switch-ins into my Therion, aka my Kyurem, and I'm going to get a lot, or why am I saying a lot? A decent amount of HP back courtesy of my leftovers, and now there's nothing stopping me from just going straight for an Ice Beam and knocking this thing out. So yeah, down goes the Ferrothorn. Kyurem is putting in a lot of work and getting all its HP back in the process. I couldn't be any more happier, really, as now I'm just gonna go out into my Primrose rather than my Amoonguss, because I expected him to want to go for a Quiver Dance if he had it, and whatever move he went for after, I would eat every single one of that. So yeah, unfortunately he's actually just gonna go straight for a Moonblast, which, while it sucks, is something that I honestly can live with, because yeah, I have a free switch into my Amoonguss. So now I'm more or less going to straight up go for a Clear Smog right now, as I am just going to be able to knock out the Ribombee of this. Psychic is going to get a decent chunk of damage off on me, but honestly speaking, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, as now he's going to go out into his Mega Alakazam. Trace is my Regenerator, which may appear to be worrisome, but isn't necessarily something I'm stressing too much about, as now I'm going to go hard out in my Chin Chin, aka my Yuxi, as he is going to go straight for a Shadow Ball, and unfortunately I'm not going to miss out on the Eye Papa Berry range, meaning that I'm going to be forced to sack this thing off. Which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's nothing that I'm necessarily gonna be losing any sleep over anytime soon. As now I'm gonna go out into my Mega Aerodactyl right now. Again, this set is a perfect answer to Mega Alakazam, and since this thing isn't even at +1 and Stealth Rocks aren't even on my side of the field, Pursuit is a very free play, and I'm gonna be able to knock this thing out as Patty's gonna try to switch out. So now, this game is more or less over at this point, because now I just pretty much have to go out into my Primrose. If he has Gong Shot, that may be able to knock me out. I'm not entirely too sure, but he's just going to go for a Glare. That's not going to work out for him. And now at this point in the match, there's really nothing stopping me from just outright going straight for Z Haze and pretty much guaranteeing myself the game, because with Tapu Fini being at max health, Thunderbolt is obviously not going to kill me, because yeah, Raichu is a very weak Pokemon. Now, here, I think I make the only misplay that I'm kind of kicking myself over, and that would have to be going out into my pink guy and sacking this thing off, because since I do happen to possess a -20 differential, I want to get as much points as I can, and when I have a very healthy Kyurem to switch into on this thing, the fact that I would make such a play like that was really unnecessary, and honestly something I kind of feel bad about. But it doesn't really matter, because I'm just going to go straight for an Earth Power right now. Unfortunately, barely be able to miss out on the KO on that Raichu of his. But honestly speaking, it's perfectly fine by me, because now I can just pretty much just go straight for an Ice Beam here. Druddigon is obviously not going to outspeed me anytime soon when it's already paralyzed. And yeah. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially going to be able to cop a nice and clean 4-0 victory. Whew. So yeah, to say that I'm overwhelmed, it would honestly be a massive understatement. I really didn't know what to expect going into this match, and to see things turn out in my favor is a very huge motivator for me. Again, to anybody that's been following me for a very long time, this is something that I've wanted, that I've always wanted, really, and the fact that I'm getting this opportunity right now means the absolute world to me. Now, I also apologize if my narration is a bit off right now, guys, but unfortunately my head is feeling a bit heavy, and what this does also mean is that I won't necessarily be able to edit the video as much as I wish to, which kind of sucks. But rest assured, hopefully by next week I'm going to be much more healthier, and I'm going to be much more fit towards making the videos, towards making these battles as entertaining as I can for each and every single one of you. So, yeah. With that being said, the Bullet Punch Club is now officially 5-1, and 1-5, and I am more or less going to have to, just win each and every single one of my matches from now on if I want to reach playoffs. But you know what? If there's anything that I learned from this match, it's that anything is possible, and if I put my mind in if I put my mind in the right place, have the right prep, and have the right execution, who knows? I can definitely make that a reality. So yeah, I don't necessarily have anything else to say. I'm already feeling tired. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all found enjoyment out of it. I hope you all are ready for next week, because I'm definitely, hopefully, if I'm healthy that is, going to step my game up in regards to, presenting these videos properly to each and every single one of you. And with that, I bid you all adieu. Peace!